Are you working us right now?
No. I'm not answering questions today as a character.
This is legit.
Yeah.
This is Kevin.
Yep.
Okay. This, in my opinion, is one of the most anticipated interviews in recent memory on this program. Why? Because this man, the author of this book right here, which is #1 on the sports biography list on Amazon right now as we speak, #1, we even have the proof of said rankings, is perhaps the most talked about man in pro wrestling right now. Everyone's wondering what is going on with his future in pro wrestling, his WWE future. He dropped an incredible documentary on his YouTube channel on Sunday evening. It has blown up almost 1 million views in the span of 2-3 days. There it is. My WWE contract ends today. Check it out after this. But that was on his platform. This is now on ours. And so without further ado, let us say hello to the man himself, the great Karrion Kross. There he is. Or perhaps I should say Killer Kross.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What are we calling you
I'm
now?
sorry. Great to see you, man. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to have you here. Wow, this is exciting. I said it. I just said, I don't know if you heard, this might be one of the most anticipated live interviews in the history of our program.
Oh, boy.
Yes. No pressure or anything.
Yeah, you're notorious for that, though.
We try to give the people
What they
want. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
And you have done so with this book, which I want to plug once again. I was just holding it up. #1 currently on the Amazon sports biography list. Surreal?
Of course. I never thought I was going to be an author.
There it is. Look at that, man.
Holy cow.
That's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, it is. It's scary getting to that point here now for so many different reasons. Like you have, okay, I'm putting my story out there. How is this going to be received? You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
I have no idea. I think it's like a safe thing to do to always check your own self-awareness. You know, you don't ever really want to be too sure about, I don't know, how you're being perceived by people to a degree where you offend people or you hurt their feelings. You kind of want to be aware. I didn't know how that was going to be and what people should be thinking when they read that. It's not exactly a Brady Bunch style book. So
I loved it. I loved it. It's a great read. It's an easy read. It's not just, hey, this happened and this happened and this happened in my life. There's life lessons there. There's words of wisdom. There's like little detours, which I enjoyed very much. And there's several things I want to ask you about the book. What's perhaps like most interesting from an overarching standpoint is the book ends with you coming back. Like the book was done, I do believe, like 3 or so years ago.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long for it to come out?
That's hard for me to say. So it went through like an internal processing period in the company where several people had to review it and basically green light it all.
When you say the company, do you mean WWE?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's how long it took in order to get it to publishing and then get it put on the shelves, which was a little frustrating.
I can imagine.
I would have preferred to release the second book right now, but I don't know. Maybe it'll all work out serendipitously, you know?
Well, honestly, we don't really have the benefit of hindsight. I feel like it's working out. Like imagine a book coming out on this week.
Yeah.
You know, you killed it on the YouTube, the documentary, which we'll get to in a second, but it kind of actually worked out brilliantly, and you didn't plan it to be this way.
No, I'll just say it. I mean, I've been really mad that it actually took this long to get the book out because I was all the way here. I was very nervous.
Yeah.
You know, like I just kind of wanted to get it out there and stop thinking about it and then it be done. I couldn't settle into how it was going to be received. I didn't know. So, but now that it's been received really well, I'm happy. As long as people are happy reading it, I'm happy. So.
As they should be and as you should be. I've been interviewing pro wrestlers. I was on a Montreal local radio show in 2000 before I went to Syracuse University. It was called In the Ring on CFMB 1280 AM, midnights on Fridays. I have never asked a pro wrestler the question that I'm about to ask you. And the reason why I've never done so is because I have so much respect for what you guys do and for the history of the business. People could talk about the unreals and all that stuff. I think there are certain questions that you shouldn't ask out of respect for what you do and what it's all about.
I appreciate that.
But I do feel like I need to ask you a certain amount of questions, and I need to be as sort of pointed as possible, okay?
Sure, of course.
Are you working us right now?
No. I'm not answering questions today as a character.
This is legit.
Yeah.
This is Kevin.
Yep.
Okay. What you put out on your YouTube channel on Sunday evening, a riveting documentary that I urge everyone to see. You almost have about 800,000 views as of right now in 3 days. That's incredible. You said that your WWE contract came to an end on August 10th.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, you have not re-signed with them. You do not have a new deal with them.
No.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate, yeah.
You're not working us on that front.
No.
And I feel bad asking you that. I've never used that word in an interview to the best of my knowledge. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. Because the reason why I feel the need to ask it is because of the Seth Rollins thing that just happened, right? You understand why.
Of course.
And I'm sure you've seen people say this is a work. In fact, people have said your appearance on today's show is validation that it's a work. They think that because you're coming here, that means this has to be a work.
No, I mean, I was planning on doing a book tour and doing media. I've been doing a lot of media. ECW Publishing, the publisher of the book, has been helping me with that. Being able to be on your platform, all the people we reach, like there was no anticipation that this was going to happen on the way to do the book tour. So that kind of, this is just what's happening. So
how did we get here? How is this possible?
Well, I mean, truth of the matter is, I mean, you've already stated, like, my contract was up last week. I never actually received a contract, like an offer, until last week. So,
do you remember what day? So your contract expired August 10th, which I do believe was Sunday.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday off the top of my head.
Okay.
I got the offer. I wanted to know how they came to the valuation of that offer. Just wanted, like some information, some metrics, some analytics that's supporting to, hey, this is how we got here. When I inquired about that, they were unwilling to provide that information and told me I had 24 hours to agree to the offer or they were rescinding it. So, the next day we talk. I ask if they have the information. They don't. And I said, I can't make an informed decision without the information. And I'd like to keep the dialogue open. And they rescinded the offer. And that's actually where we're at.
Wow.
So, and it's not meant, this isn't like, I know how a lot of people feel when they make an exit, right? I can empathize with everybody's experience. Every experience exiting the company is different, right? This isn't like to disparage WWE, but because there's so many convoluted stories out there going on, it actually even to some degree can affect our livelihood of what we're supposed to be doing afterwards. People don't want to reach out because they're not sure if they're tampering and stuff like that. The goal has always been to be with WWE. My wife and I still want to be like with WWE. Like I'm still I'm at the table for conversations. I did not step out of the conversation. You know what I mean? So, we still want to be there. We still want to work it out.
Okay, so a few things to obviously follow up on. I have never heard of the, hey, here's an offer, you have 24 hours, and if you don't respond or take it, we're taking it away. Have you ever heard this being done before?
I haven't, no.
Have you asked other guys, like, is this how it goes when a contract is up?
I haven't asked anybody about their particular experiences, no.
That seems a little odd, right? I mean, I've been in contract negotiations myself. I've never been given a 24 hours deadline. And if not, we're taking it away. Why do you think that was the play? Why was that the tone?
I don't know.
Was it less than what you were making?
No. But, I mean, at the end of the day, like when a valuation is being suggested, there has to be something where people can go to information-wise and say, hey, this is how we came to this.
Yeah, of course.
And, this is what we think makes sense. I asked to see that information. I still haven't seen it. I want to see it. Let's look at it together and let's decide whether this is appropriate or not. I don't think that's unreasonable. Was it a departure from what you were thinking? Like if we would have talked and said, like, what are you hoping for? Was this way off? I didn't necessarily have I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was thinking, let's assess everything together and see where we're at. I want to make sure that this is actually reflective fairly of, what we have information-wise to collect and look at. That's all. Is this, obviously we know this is your second go-around with them. Was this the first time that you were in a renewal situation? Because we know that the first time around, they released you, right? And then they brought you back. But was this the first time that hey, you get a chance to see how the renewal process goes? Or was there another deal in the past where you re-upped? No, there were no other deals. I mean, the contract, contract expired. We talked a little bit before that. Nothing like that. Yeah. No. How close were you to actually taking this deal within 24 hours? impossible.
Okay.
Because you can't, like I had explained to them, I had said, like, there's no opportunity here to make an informed decision without looking at the information together. So you can't do that. Like your whole livelihood is based on this idea with no information to support it. I just wanted to get there. I wanted to keep the dialogue open. So, and I still do, like.
And just curious, are you speaking through an agent, a manager, or is it direct, you to
No,
them?
me, for sure.
Okay.
I came to the table to talk.
And specifically, if you don't mind me asking, who are you speaking to when you're going through this?
It's a rep that the
Okay.
company appointed to have a conversation with. I would have loved to have spoke to either of my bosses, but this
Would
is
that
the
be
way
Paul
that-
Levesque?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when my wife and I came back, Hunter had called us, and we did our deals over the phone together. So I was just under the assumption that we were going to do that again. We did them at the same time, and yeah, like typically I would not put somebody in front of me to talk to Hunter. I feel comfortable to talk to him, in person. We've always talked that way. So, but yeah,
Yeah, I believe, I read in here, I believe you said, are you ready to come home, right?
yes,
The first time.
yeah,
You did not get that. And it is worth noting, there's another human being involved in this, your wife,
yeah,
who means the world to you.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the same boat, right? Her
Yeah.
deal was up August 10th, and she has not been re-signed.
yeah.
When they made that offer, was it for the two of you?
Nothing. She had nothing. There was no offer to her.
Nothing.
No. I was told at one point, because I did inquire, of course.
Yeah.
After we deal with you, we'll deal with her. Like,
Do you think that they were going to get to her? Like once they were probably hoping you'd say yes, do you think they were going to get to her? Or do you think there was a chance that she was not going to be brought back regardless?
I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't see why we just could not have done things the way we did them before, where we do the deals together. So
That's how it's always been.
it was like that the last time.
Okay.
In NXT, she was signed first, maybe at the end of 2019, and I came in 2020.
Okay.
So
And so in the process of you not, accepting and then rescinding, does anyone reach out to you between, say, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday when you put out that video? Does anyone say, hey, let's figure this out, man? Like, okay, we're at an impasse. Do you get another call? Do you get another email, a text? Does anyone reach out to you in that period?
no,
Wow.
no.
Did that surprise you?
Well, I tried not to invent a hopeful scenario in my head, but a little bit. Like I said, I wanted to continue the dialogue. It was strange. A lot of this is strange to me.
I'm quite honestly blown away by all of this. And I'm still kind of wondering, I don't want to disrespect you, but wrestling is, and I see you're very sincere, and I could even kind of tell that you're like, dare I say, a little bit hurt by all of this. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unexpected. It's unexpected. I'm not sure I had a high level of expectation, but just any time I've ever gotten on board with the company hasn't quite been like this in terms of communication. So, and I just feel like there's still so much more to talk about. I feel like there's more to explore here. So it was just strange.
Since you put out the YouTube video Sunday night, did you hear anything from anyone?
Anyone who,
In the company, sorry.
friends in the company, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But higher ups, brass, people who would say
No,
nothing.
no.
Did that surprise you? Did you think, okay, once this comes out and I kind of peel it all back, someone's going to reach out?
I didn't necessarily think the timing of anyone wanting to talk to me would have anything to do with that. There's nothing derogatory or disparaging in that, like that would create any sort of concern. It's more just documenting how SummerSlam went, and
Right.
yeah,
When someone gets released from WWE, there's usually a period, either 30, 60, 90 days. They can't talk. They can't solicit offers, things like that. Because your contract elapsed, technically, can you go work for someone today?
yeah, of course.
You're free and clear.
Yes,
Okay. But as you just alluded to, which I thought was fascinating, I was thinking of this, because people are sort of unsure if this is legit or not, and you're saying it is, and I 100% believe you, have you found that people are afraid to reach out to you because they don't want to get caught in an angle?
I've been told through people, they're like, "Hey, Like, what's actually going on? They're telling me that people are concerned about making contact. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not trying to turn this into a game. It's not a game to me. It's my life.
Yes.
I'm very big on loyalty. Everybody knows that. But loyalty is a two-way street. And WWE has given me and my family an amazing opportunity, you know, in the past to change our lives. I've talked about working at NXT during the pandemic, people in my family getting laid off. They have no idea how they're going to, you know, make their mortgage. I was able to take over their mortgage. Like, I'm very interested in trying to recover what I think is something, you know, that is easily recoverable. But like, it takes two people to come together and talk about it. I'm still here. So
you've been you and your wife have been one of the hottest acts, the hottest stories, characters over the last few months. And so all this happening at the same time is obviously fascinating and somewhat unprecedented. So my question is, when did you start to get the sense that something was amiss? Like, when you're hot and everyone's chanting, "We want Kross," and there's the signs and all that stuff, but yet you still don't have a new deal and you know August 10th is coming. When did you start to feel like, hey, this might not actually work out the way we thought it was going to work out? At least not now.
You have moments of that all the time in wrestling. So it wasn't necessarily specific to what's happened recently, but you always have moments where, like, hey, the audience really likes something. You hope that you're given the green light to lean into it a little bit. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. Sometimes, you know, when people are formatting any type of television show, there is an intention for the show to peak at certain points. You might not be in the part of the show where they really needed to peak. So there's a chance they might not lean into this thing that the audience is really enjoying because there's a different destination in mind. That's just the reality of at least what we do, you know. There were times throughout this where there was creative things that I think we could have done to really nurture it, give people essentially what they're looking for out of it. I can't really necessarily place a time where I was like, you know, but everyone was aware the crowd was really enjoying it. They knew they were into it. Live, online, when to pull the trigger on really directly, I don't know, bringing attention to it, syncing it with something creatively. I mean, I don't know. I don't know when they would have wanted to have done that.
I would say everything really took a huge next step post WrestleMania, right?
Sure.
The interview with Sam and Megan, and you're there backstage, and you dropped that pipe bomb, for lack of a better word. In the doc, you revealed that was all a work.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? Why say that now?
So I kept that protected because I was under the impression at the time from things I was being told that AJ and I might be working a little bit, and there were some options as to different things we could do. So you don't want to let everybody behind the curtain while they're still watching the movie. Imagine watching Terminator 2 for the first time in theaters, and in the middle of the movie they're like, we're going to take an intermission and tell you all about how this is CGI and this is a robot and they got the guy on the strings. I didn't want to do that. So I kept it protected like I would with anything so people can remain immersed in the programming. But then we moved away from AJ. And so some time went by, and I wasn't necessarily supposed to have anything directly with Logan, but we're trying to make it all cohesive and make sense. Why, you know, what was Kross's issue or his angle with AJ? How does Logan intertwine into that since AJ is going to fight Logan? All of that type of stuff. I was on the red carpet for WWE Hall of Fame the year Brett and Stone Cold and Hunter were inducted, all that stuff. And at least AJ and I we didn't know that when we were coming up the elevator that we were going to walk through a live shot. Like, we know there's interviews in media and stuff like that, but we kind of thought, we were under the impression we were going upstairs and we were in a rush to go sit down in the auditorium. Well, I was like, dude, go ahead of me. Give you a 5-minute head start. We were going up together. We were going to cross through the shot together. So he goes up, and I don't know what happens, but Rosenberg and Jackie were interviewing people. Somehow, I see him coming. Scarlett stops. He keeps walking. I can't stop. I walk through the shot. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to ruin the immersion of everything we just did on Monday. And I was like, I can't let that happen. Like, the pro wrestler in me cannot
Sure,
let this
of
happen.
course.
So I'm listening and I'm trying to improvisationally come up with something. And Rosenberg starts talking a little bit of trash. I was like, oh, perfect. This is my in. So I go over and I just kind of like have a meltdown about how he's running his mouth about me. He improvisationally backpedals. He already knows what's going on, which is perfect. Now we're playing into it. We're essentially kind of washing out what people just saw of AJ and I walking through the shot together. So no one goes, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know? I say I'm going to break the lights. I say I'm going to throw AJ over the railing. Just kind of have like a mini meltdown. As I'm walking away, one of the producers comes over to me and goes, that was hilarious. That was really, really good. All the guys in the truck are laughing. And I said, thank you. I said, I was trying to cover up for you. He goes, no, I understand. He goes, do you want to do the Sam Roberts podcast tomorrow? I said, sure, I would love to. And I asked him, I go, what do you want? And he goes, give me that guy. That was pretty entertaining. I said, okay, like premise-wise, what are you looking for? And he goes, we want it to feel real. In terms of viewership and engagement with wrestling, things perform better the more real they feel. That's nothing new under the sun. The more real wrestling feels and everything, the better it performs, like theater.
Sure.
You know? So I go, okay. At one point he was like, we just had Dana White on one of the programs that he was overseeing or something, and he was using the F word quite a bit. So at the time I thought I had a green light. I asked, I'm allowed to say the F word? I won't say it 40 times, but I can use it impactfully. He goes, yeah, we want this to feel real. Make this feel real. I go, okay. So the next day we go to Sam Roberts and just to clarify with him, I just said, all right, well, here's the story arc for Kross. This is the story that's been told. He's had one match on Raw this year. He lost. He's not on WrestleMania in his hometown. He shows up to WrestleMania. AJ doesn't cheat. In fact, AJ punches him out. What is the state of the character of Kross? Oh, and Kross lost the Battle Royal that week, the Andre the Giant Memorial. Kross is not in a good mood. He would be irate. And I've got, an improvisational moment. I wasn't on WrestleMania. Why are people watching this? They got central nervous system fatigue watching one of the greatest shows on earth, WrestleMania. People are probably burned out. They want to take a minute. I got to do something captivating, something good. Here's my moment. I wasn't on the show. But if you're going to give me a little bit of time, you're going to let me see, people see me. It's got to be good, right? So I sit down. I said what I said. I walked out of the shot. They turned the camera off, walked back into the room. Thank you very much, everybody. Shook everybody's hands. Everybody was cool with it. They were like, holy cow. They said another word we're not going to say, but yeah, everyone was really blown away. And I let everybody know, let's make sure this is somewhat protected from the audience, but let everyone know internally that this is a work, because not every department is constantly in lockstep communication with one another. So I told everybody that. Sure enough, not everybody knew that was a work.
You think it backfired?
Well, I can't say that it backfired, but people were very upset with it because they thought it was real.
When you say people, specifically like
higher ups, I'll say higher ups.
They were offended, or did they feel like you were too aggressive? Like, what could they have been upset? How would a wrestling lifer see that and be like, yeah, that's too far, or you crossed the line, or is this real or not?
I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but this is what I will say about it. So a lot of everything that you see goes through the creative process. It goes through a team. I was under the impression that we were doing something improvisationally and it was okay. But like I said, sometimes the communication is not in lockstep with each other. So no one told them that this was a work. No one said, I shook everybody's hands. I gave Megan a hug before I left. So they were under the impression, like a week goes by, that, I flipped out. So one day I waited for Hunter outside the production meeting once it was actually brought to my attention that he was not okay with it. And I explained everything to him. No one told him anything. So as far as I know, at that point we were good, but everyone was under the impression, a lot of people, like I just lost my mind. I was just trying to do my job. My job that day was to make people believe like any other day. And yeah.
Do you think it's possible that they thought that you were going into business for yourself, or maybe trying to take away from WrestleMania because you weren't a part of the show? Here you are trying to take the spotlight. Do you think that's possible?
It's possible that they felt that way, but at the end of the day, it actually drove engagement.
Oh, hell yeah.
It generated them money. Not only that, that promo was not done on my phone or on Twitter. It was done on their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We were intending.
It was the post show, right?
Yeah, I'll say it. I was intending for them to be able to make money off of that, to have something that we can use. We're never pigeonholed with this character that I was playing on TV. There's a million different ways you can take it. I'm always thinking, how can I arm my creative team and everyone I'm working with a million different things to do with Kross so you don't disappear off TV? Here's a great one. And yeah, it was good for business. So anyone of the opinion that I went into business for myself that day, they're really not thinking it through. It generated quite a bit of money, so and interest. And then also people were like, hey, can we have more of that?
Yeah.
The people liked it.
Do you think if you don't do that, if that never happens, you don't show up on the post show, you don't say a word, you're still in WWE today?
I don't know.
Is that a possibility in your mind? Have you thought of that? Hey, if this great thing actually didn't happen, things would have worked out differently?
I don't think doing that or not doing that has any sort of bearing or result on the phone call conversation that I had. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't want to think that it does, because again, it was very good for business. It was good for business. If business is about generating money and engagement and fan interest, then it was good for business. It was good. It was a good thing.
You said in the documentary on your YouTube channel that at some point you had a conversation with someone about your future, and you were left feeling very upset afterwards, because to you this is your life, this is everything. You're a wrestling lifer, and maybe they're not, and they don't really understand how to speak to someone in your shoes.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
am I summing that up correctly?
Fairly, sure.
Could you tell me like what you meant by that? And that's not the phone call that you're referring to from last week, right?
No.
So that's someone reaching out to you or talking to you face to face and saying, hey, we need to talk about your contract coming up?
Yes, it was an explorative phone call, and I was happy.
Oh, it was a phone call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was happy to finally get it.
And how long ago was that?
It was either a week or 2 weeks before that. There was quite a bit of time between those phone calls, but I was just disappointed because I had expressed interest to remain with the company in January.
In what context? Where are you?
I said, hey, I spoke with a higher up.
Okay.
And I said, I'm interested in remaining on board. What is it that you need to see out of me in order to make that happen? They gave me some directives. I expressed where I'd like to land in all things. And then I was told at one point the reps would get in touch with me. So all that time, I was waiting for that phone call the whole time. And then to get that particular phone call that I got, and there was still so much uncertainty after the phone call, I was like, man, like what's going on here?
Was it dismissive, the call? What upset you about it?
Because it was just, I wanted to lock in, I was interested in locking in remaining with the company because I had expressed that I wanted to stay. So that was what was disappointing about it. Just not the phone call I was hoping it was going to be in that regard.
What's interesting is you keep saying how much you wanted to stay, and I believe you, and you said that multiple times in the YouTube doc, and you also said the notion that you didn't want to stay is so ludicrous to you, right? Because this has been your dream. You want to be Roddy Piper, Bret Hart, etc.
Of course.
Do you think there are people in the company who actually believed you were disgruntled and didn't want to stay?
No.
That you want? You don't?
No. There were numerous articles that went out online in all directions. Some were saying I had resigned. Some were saying that I quit WWE. Like there was just different things, 12 different stories online about what was going on. And there was just over a time period, I'm looking at this, I'm reading all this, and I'm just like, I don't know where all that comes from. I don't know how that gets drummed up. Maybe it's just people putting stuff out there to see on, who will click it, but it was odd. Like it's a crazy notion to me that I would just willingly walk away. No way. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do since I was a little kid, specifically working for WWE. I was a kid in the crowd once upon a time in New York. So I've had my mind made up about being a part of the company and being a part of the greatest show on earth since I was a little kid. So
a lot was made of the fact that the fans at the SummerSlam post show were chanting "We want Kross" when Paul Levesque was up there, Triple H, and he responded, "Yeah, you want Brock, you got him." Do you think he just misheard, or do you think that was on purpose?
I don't know. I don't want to frame that situation. But when I did see it, I laughed because he could have misheard it. And then he has like a very dry sense of humor. And I thought there was a chance maybe he could have just been joking around. I'm the same way. I have a very dry sense of humor and I'm very sarcastic. So is everybody in my family. It's like a East Coast New England thing. I didn't know. But I saw it and I looked at it and I just laughed. And then on the back end of that, I was very flattered that after the show, it's a show that I'm not even on, everyone is chanting that.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And then the night before the show's over, they were doing it on both nights. And I thought that was really, really cool, man. And I've had conversations with people that have been in the business for over 30 years. And they've said really, really, really solid wrestlers, like Dynamite Kid level solid people have gone their whole careers and never gotten an ovation like that. Never mind once. They've never had things like this happen. It really put things in perspective for me. Like, yeah, he's right. Like, there's incredible people that have been in this business that aren't received like that from the crowd. And stuff like that I will never forget for the rest of my life, man. Like, it's awesome. I'll never forget that.
It's incredible. You can't buy that. I mean, it's priceless stuff. It's stuff that I would say you guys dream of, right, as performers. And the pops that you were getting on Main Event or anytime you showed up was incredible. And I was wondering, so you're on back-to-back PLEs, Night of Champions and SummerSlam. You don't get the W, but you're still being featured, right? So are you taking that in the midst of all of this as a sign like, hey, they're putting me on these shows. I'm having singles matches. I'm not just thrown into like a six-man or a battle royal. Like, surely this is a sign that they're behind me and this will get sorted out. Did you view that as a sign, or would that be a false thing to do?
I wasn't thinking about it like that. I was really more or less trying to think about the task at hand. I've always been like that. I'm never really like, if this happens, this is what it means. Because that's not what you can't equate things like that in wrestling. You could be on top of the world for an extended period of time, and then there could be a decision that's made or something happens where you just fall right off. Working at NXT, being NXT champion, no one would have ever thought that I would have went to Monday Night Raw, get a weird helmet, suspenders, and then be gone. Like, people, even then, people privately asked me if that was a work back then. I think because of the Rollins stuff and Ron's situation, truth, people don't know now, right? They're calling it new kayfabe. Brian Pillman invented new kayfabe. It's nothing new. That's just my opinion. I'm a huge Brian Pillman mark. What can I say? But yeah, I didn't equate any of that.
Okay. Speaking of Ron Killings, you also mentioned that you had a conversation, I think, on the way home from Saudi.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about that?
I really only kind of want to say what I said in the documentary, which was essentially Ron had pulled me aside and talked to me, and he basically, he knows what's going on with me. He's been in my corner. He's always been in my corner. I've always been in his. Ron's somebody I've always gotten along with. We have mutual friends. Shout out to Conan. Yeah, I love that dude. I had a Night of Champions was a little rough because one of my relatives, my Uncle Chris, had passed away a little bit before Night of Champions. And the process of developing a service for him was taking a little bit. So right around the time that my family had announced we were going to do a service for him, I got a call to ask me to go to Night of Champions. So I told the person over the phone, let me call you back. Let me see how like my family feels about this, because I don't want to agree to anything over the phone. I'm thinking I'm going to the service. So that Night of Champions match didn't happen. I spoke to some of my relatives and they said, your Uncle Chris would want you to go do this match. You can grieve anytime you want. This is something that's coming around right now and it's important that you go. So I had their support. I spoke to quite a few of them and that was kind of the consensus. So I went, and it's just, you're in the moment and you're enjoying it. No regrets about it. But then there's also that. And you're in this weird seesaw all day and the whole trip. Like, almost feels sometimes like guilty that you're having a good time with this on your mind. And I just kept thinking about him all day and talking to him under my breath. I talked to Ron a little bit about that on the plane, and that's kind of how the conversation began.
Okay, I'm sorry about your uncle, and you did talk about that. It actually now makes a lot more sense, at least to me, because you had said that people kept coming up to you and saying like, "We're going to do this the right way, right? Like, we're not going to make yourself into the good guy here and get the crowd. You're the bad guy, right?" And you said, "I was just thinking about my uncle on that day. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was trying to do exactly what you guys wanted."
Yeah.
Why did you think that they were so nervous? And because you sort of implied that they kept coming up to you. People kept coming up to you saying like, "This is going to go according to the plan," right?
Yeah.
Had that ever happened before where you went off script, so to speak?
No.
So why do you think there was this fear?
I don't know. Everyone knows the crowd has been coming with the character for
Sure.
a while now, right?
But that happens, right? That happens,
It's happened a million times over time, over the history of pro wrestling. There's a million different instances. It's not as if I was going to run like a Hogan comeback on him, like, forcibly.
Yeah.
We're changing the finish, brother.
Yeah.
I would have never done that. At no point did I ever think that the crowd was going to boo Sammy. That's insane. I think they were concerned that they were going to boo the finish. But I never saw that.
How could you do anything about that anyway? Like, how could they say to you, like, "Hey, you got to make sure they boo the finish. They boo the finish." That's not necessarily on you, right?
That's
more.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. This was never ever going to be a reality in my mind that would happen. It was never going to be a reality. I was like, "There's no way that's going to happen. This is not a real concern." Him and I are going to go out there. We're going to kill it. I had a blast working with him. It's one of the best ever, in my opinion. So it was just that was odd and not their fault. Like, I didn't tell very many people. Only a couple people knew in the company ahead of time that my Uncle Chris had passed. So I didn't bring that to work with me. I kept it to myself. But just while that's on my mind, and the directive for the day, and then these strange concerns about this thing that I knew was not going to happen, I was like, what's going on? What's happening here? So,
how did you feel about the SummerSlam match?
Very grateful to be there. Very happy to be working with Sammy. If I could have done it differently, I would have wanted to have blown it off bigger. So, story format wise, the heel is terrorizing the babyface for an extended period of time. Babyface has to get his comeuppance, right? At some point. I know a lot of people wanted to see Kross win the match. If we're following basic psychology here, babyface wins, okay? No problem. I would have liked to have gotten nuked in that match, though. Something real big. Something really like, I don't know, just something crazier. Something like a spectacle moment. We had a moment on the end of it when he's got the pipe. It was that Luke Skywalker moment. Is he going to go to the dark side, I would have liked to have gone bigger. Maybe I would have had him, I don't know, maybe we chase up somewhere really high and maybe I slip, so we protect his integrity as a good guy. I slip and fall off something really high. I don't know. I would have liked to have gone bigger. So maybe a scaffold with lava and alligators with top hats.
You were open to killing Karrion Kross.
Sure, why not?
If that was going to be the end.
Sure. These people paid good money for those tickets at SummerSlam. Why not give them something really like, oh my God, do you remember that?
Right.
It was a crazy card. Lots of stipulations, lots of different match types, belts. I would have liked to have done the match in a bigger fashion if I was allowed to. But at the end of the day, you have your directives. You go out there, you have your marching orders. Everybody does. So
when that was over and you were leaving the ring and walking to the back, was there any thought in the back of your mind, this could be the last time I compete in this ring, at least for now?
I had a gut feeling.
Really?
I couldn't tell you why, but I had a gut feeling. My gut's never wrong. So
you felt in that moment this is the last time?
Yeah, I felt it all day.
Why?
Subtle things that I couldn't even tell you. Subtle things happening that I could not even convey in words. Body language, energy, stuff like that. I felt it. I even had a friend of mine tell me, maybe do something for the live crowd when you're leaving to say goodbye or something. I was like, I don't want to be an unprofessional. This moment, clearly by design, is for the babyface to get everything back that we took away from him. I don't need to make this about myself right now. It's about him. I've been taking from him for weeks. So let's do the right thing. Let's be accountable. Let's not go into business for ourselves.
Right.
Let's not upset the audience by doing some sort of, whatever in the middle of the show. Just go out there and do the job that they're asking you to do, as I have always done.
Sure. And when you get to the back, what happens after the match? Does someone say something to you? Do you get a chat, a hug, a thank you? What is that vibe like when you walk back to Gorilla and back to the locker room?
Thank yous, making sure everybody was okay, and handshakes, and that was pretty much it. I thought it was cool. This is the only time I've ever known for this to happen, but Taker was in Gorilla, and Sammy and I went to Taker after the match to get his thoughts on it, and it was all good.
Wow.
So that was cool. Like, The Undertaker watched
That's incredible.
one of our matches, which is cool. I grew up watching him ever since I was a little kid. So
He's actually giving you pointers?
he just talked about what he liked about the match, and we asked him if there was anything that jumped out or stood out that we would do anything differently with, and he said he really enjoyed it. So
Incredible.
yeah, that was cool for me.
When you leave the arena that night, were you at night two?
Yes, I came in for media.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you leave on Sunday, what are you feeling?
Well, I was told we were going to Raw. There was a creative idea in the air. Sunday we get a message saying we're going, we're going to be flown home. So now we're not going to be at Raw.
Wow.
That didn't feel very good.
No. Was there a reason?
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
The two of you and your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch Raw that night?
Of course.
When you hear people chanting your name, when you see the signs, what does that feel like?
Really good. Never in my life, man, have I ever felt more supported, like ever. It's so much support I don't even know what to do with it, but it is motivating. I've been one of those people most of my life. I've had a weird disassociation thing with people that I've had to overcome. I talk about it a lot in the book. I feel like putting this book out and getting feedback from people, like they're not talking to the character, they're talking to me for once, I'm getting over those things, and to feel so much support from my peers, from strangers, from fans, it's really wonderful. Like, even as undesirable as this situation is, I still have hope that we can recover it, work it out, and the support that I get from people on a daily basis everywhere is unbelievable.
Does it ever feel like, hey, why me? Do you ever think to yourself, like, do I deserve this?
No.
You don't have that imposter syndrome?
No.
Okay, that's good.
I think about it like every single time you're tested in life, it's an opportunity to self-discover something. Everybody can tell themselves a story about what they're like and what they do and how they are. It doesn't become real until you go through it. It doesn't, like, you tell yourself, I don't know, fighting, you cover a lot of MMA. Every single person on the planet will, think that they will excel at cage fighting until they actually do it, right? People who watch it, who like it. Oh, I could knock that guy out. I could fight this guy. Until you go in there and do it, you don't know, right? And I just look at a lot of challenges like that in life. This situation is forging me into the next person I'm going to become. And I feel really good about it. There's no fear. I'm going to embrace it and take whatever's coming on the chin and see who I am at the end of it.
How is your wife handling it?
Really good.
Okay. Same type of attitude?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even more so.
Even more so. What does that mean?
We're all about preserving integrity. We're not kids anymore. When you're a teenager and you're in your early 20s, anybody, life is about making choices and finding out sometimes if it was the right one or the wrong one. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Our conscience is clear. We don't live with any sort of self-resentment. The only way you can let self-resentment in is to make choices and decisions that you're going to regret. And I'm not going to do that. I want to proceed forward with integrity in all things. And she supports that.
So there hasn't been a moment in all this time where you've thought, like, man, maybe I should have done this differently, and maybe I should have said that or talked to this person. do you find yourself sort of going over these moments, relitigating everything, or you're not that type of guy?
No. I mean, it's always case by case in life, but where we are right now, let's do things honestly. Let's observe things together. Let's make decisions together. It doesn't have to be the way it is right now.
Did you see Paul Heyman on the show last week, or at least what he said?
I did.
What did you think when he was talking about you? His answer.
Dude. I've had a relationship with Paul Heyman for a very long time that I've never talked about publicly. I consider him a veteran. I consider him a great source for advice and information. I do consider him a friend. And I've never name dropped him once. I've never, ever wanted him. Look, I know who he is to this business. I've never, ever wanted him to feel like if I go talk to this guy, he's going to go on media and start telling me about, telling everybody how I put him over to use that as like a chip to cash of people. I've literally never reiterated a single conversation I have ever had with Paul in my life on media ever. It's different when somebody compliments you privately. It's a whole nother level when they do that publicly. And that'll be one of those things I'll never forget for the rest of my life too, man. I'm really honored that he said that. And I don't want to say it. I just said I wouldn't. We've had conversations about what he said before. I'll leave it at that.
Maybe previously?
Yes.
Okay.
We've had conversations about that before. There was one thing that he told me a long time ago, and I don't think he'd mind that I'm saying this. A long time ago, in this last term that I had, there was a time where I was off TV for over 3 months. I'd have to ask my wife. She has a much better memory than I do, maybe 4 or 5 months. I was backstage at TV every week, hoping this is going to be the day we're going to get back on TV. He calls me over. We sit down in Gorilla, just check in, shoot the breeze. We get to this conversation. He goes, I want to ask you a question. I go, what? And he says, say they pull you off TV for another 2 months, 3 months. Do you think if you were given the opportunity to go out there and perform at your best, you could get over with that audience, you could entertain them? I said, of course. And he goes, good. I do too. Never forget that. How about 5 months? Could you do it? Of course I could. Good. How about 6 months? How about a year? Could you go out there? If you had no handcuffs, no restrictions, could you go engage that audience? Could you get over? Could you do what you're supposed to do with this job? I said, yes. And he said, good. Don't ever let the time you're spending off TV rattle you because you know what you're doing. I can verbatim repeat that because that was a conversation that has lived in my head to now. It solidified my confidence in what I was doing like I had never, ever had it before. Once you know what you're doing, and you're certain you know what you're doing, and you've demonstrated that you know what you're doing, there's your relationship that you can have with your people. You just can't doubt it. You can't let things get between those ideas. And fast forward, maybe that was a year and a half ago. Fast forward to now, here we are. He was right, man. He's a guy who's seen a lot. He's a guy, when he was a young man, he had an idea about professional wrestling that all the old timers were like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're wrong. What's this kid know? He goes off, Eastern Championship Wrestling, becomes ECW. Turns out he was right. Changes the entire commercial landscape of professional wrestling. They copied everything he did. We all know it. To get a compliment from him, to be able to know him, be able to talk to him as a human being, wouldn't trade it for anything.
It's amazing because when you were reciting that, I can hear him saying that. The 4 months, the 5 months. I can see this conversation, and it's great because I noticed that you gave him a shout out at the very end of the book, and I never really heard you talk about him or he talk about you. So I was like, and I know there are people that have come up to him. We spoke about that in the interview last week with him as well. So I thought, this makes a lot of sense. Silly me, shame on me. I thought for sure you would get re-signed. I thought you probably were re-signed already. I never even asked him that question because it wasn't even like a part of my thought process. The way he was labeling it and kind of laying it all out was like, oh yeah, they're going to demand. And then just like Stone Cold and I said CM Punk, you're going to come up and the crowd is going to go crazy. You're going to get your moment. And so when he said that, I think everyone thought, oh, okay, look, like Paul's laying it all out and it's about to happen. And so that's why it's still so hard for me to believe that we're here talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
When you heard him say that, did it give you hope that this would get fixed between then and now?
No, because he, to my knowledge at least, because I hadn't really talked to him about anything, he didn't know what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think we were going to get here. I didn't think it was going to get to here. So I kind of just, figured this conversation that's taking place right now today, I didn't think was ever going to take place.
Right.
We're just going to work through this, and this will be like it never even happened. So he did not know about any of that, as far as I know.
I'm assuming you probably heard from a lot of people within the company, friends, peers, colleagues, right?
Yeah.
Anyone reach out with advice that really meant something to you that really stood out? I'm sure friends checking in, like these are your buds, right? You see them more than your own family. Obviously, you're lucky that you're with your wife, but any vet, any OG, any pal?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot of them. I don't like name dropping people.
I get it.
Because then sometimes they may feel a particular way about it, but a lot of people. And
anything in particular that they said, you don't have to tell us the source, but some advice about how to navigate through this. Because I can understand this is probably not fun for you and not very easy, right? I feel for you right now. This is your life. To us, it's like, oh, it's a great interview. Let's see how it all goes. It's a fun story. This is amazing. Let's see if he pops up. This is your freaking life, man. You built this explains it. This explains everything from the fighting to your relationship with your father. Like this, look at the title. I mean, could you have not planned this? I mean, it's unbelievable. So I'm just wondering if there was advice on how to navigate all of this, because I can't imagine what's going through your mind.
I was told to do the right thing and, don't make any decisions that you're going to regret. Think everything through. Be logical. Stand your ground. And that was essentially, to paraphrase across the board, that was the advice that I was given.
Okay. Since Sunday, have other promotions reached out to you?
Yeah, of course.
Big ones?
Yes.
Can I ask specifically?
You can ask, but I won't tell you, brother.
Has AEW reached out?
No.
No?
No.
Are you surprised?
No.
Why?
A lot of people think it's a work.
They were the ones I was thinking of when you said, hey, people don't know whether or not to reach out. Because the theory that I've heard is if Kross shows up on TNA, this is all a work because they're in cahoots, right?
Right.
If he shows up on AEW, obviously this isn't a work.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, that's what everyone is thinking. I've read it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Everyone's thinking I'm just going to pop up under some other company that's in the WWE umbrella. They're hoping I do because this seems so nonsensical to people. People are following the course of events that have happened to get to here, and they're going, how did this happen? This must not be real because this makes no sense. And believe me, I also think that this makes no sense either.
Yeah.
This is baffling to me too. And it drives me nuts that I actually even have to admit that. It is baffling.
It is.
So
it would be an all-time story if you go up and show up on the indies and then come back. That's what people are concocting this. Mm-hmm. But you have said repeatedly this is not the case. Mm-hmm. And so are you open to even talking to others at the moment, or are you still holding out hope that things will get sorted with WWE?
I've talked to many people across the boards about doing a lot of different things. I have things that we're lining up. My wife, both, and I, we both have things that we're lining up. We just haven't announced dates, but nothing so far that we have taken on would necessarily interfere with coming back home to WWE. It's like I said it before. Like I'm not trying to turn this into a game. I know that could be advantageous for a lot of people. I don't like to proceed like that. I don't like it. I will resent myself for proceeding that way, even if it's monetarily beneficial to do that. I don't want to do that. So, I'm still waiting, man. I'm waiting at the table to finish discussing, things that we never got a chance to discuss. I think that there's still a lot to talk about.
Sure.
So.
And when you say that, you mean like from a character perspective, right? There's so much more work.
No, I mean like from attempting to recover the issue with WWE.
Okay.
Like that's why I'm not fishing for any major television wrestling companies to call me. I have been contacted by several, but I'm not looking for that. That's not actually what I'm looking for. I would like to explore the conversation more with WWE.
Do you think if you called them today and said, you know what, on second thought, I'll take that offer, do you think it's on the table or is it really gone?
Well, the offers rescinded.
You think so?
Well, that's what they said.
That's what they said.
That's what they
You
said.
believe that? I mean, because that's business too, right? That's negotiation.
Well, I mean, I want to believe what they are telling me. That's how communication has to work,
Sure.
unless they say something that is untrue. But in life, no one is going to make a decision without information that's going to impact their entire life.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have information. You can't make a decision like that without being informed. All I ever asked for was to integrate information that we could assess together into the conversation. They were unwilling to do it.
Mm.
I'd still like to see that information. I never even saw it. I never saw it. I'd like to see it. Where's the basis for everything that we were talking about? Where is it? You know?
Do you speak to your peers about, like, do you know what market value is?
Of course.
Okay, so you know what Karrion Kross right now should probably be making.
Certainly.
And was it far off from that? Was it a slap in the face?
I'd prefer not to say.
Okay.
And the reason being is because let's look at the information together.
Okay.
That's the fair thing to say. Let's look at it all together and let's see what's appropriate. You know what I mean? Imagine, I don't know, trying to buy a car. Somebody's trying to sell you a car, you need a car, but you have absolutely no information about the vehicle whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
what year is it? You know, what make, what engine, what model?
I'm curious if you thought of this. I'll just insert myself in it for a moment. When I was about to leave ESPN, they made me an offer, and it was for the exact same amount of money that I was making. I was very disappointed by that. I thought I deserved more. And there were some people who were telling me they don't want you to accept this. They're only offering this to you so that they can say they offered it to you, but they are hoping you say no because it's for the exact same amount. I was like, no. Times are tough, pandemic. They want me to stick around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm foolish. Do you think they were hoping that you either didn't take that offer or didn't accept it or didn't answer in 24 hours just so that they could say, hey, we offered him something. He just didn't accept it?
I really don't know what was the intention with all of this. I really don't know. I don't want to be unfair and speculate and put that on them. Like, again, it's not, I'm not trying to make anybody feel targeted by this. I just think that the wrong people were in the conversation.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Certainly things like what you said go through your mind, though. I can't deny that. You know, you wonder what is going on here. It's not following a logical course of discussion. I really tried to get it on track with that. So
I read in your fantastic autobiography, which is out right now, by the way, #1 on Amazon as far as sports biographies are concerned. Can't recommend it enough. A fantastic summer read. I read in this book that at one point, when you left WWE for the first time, I did not know this, you had bandied about the idea of going to BKFC. You had spoken to David Feldman, who, as fate would have it, is actually on the show today to break some news.
I saw.
Weirdly enough.
Yes.
I had no idea. How close was that to becoming a thing?
Really, really, really close.
This is when you left the first time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He reached out or you reached out?
I was in the audience. I would see him all the time.
Okay. You'd go to shows where? In Florida?
Florida.
Okay.
I was at the shows almost every single time he was there for a very long time. We got to know each other. Turns out he knows my father as well.
Ah, yes. We spoke about the first time you were on, yes.
Yeah. So he kept asking me, he was going, when are you going to fight for me? When are you going to fight for me? And I was thinking to myself, oh God, do I want to invite this energy back into my life? And at the time I was thinking, yes, I did. So we were talking about doing something together. And then coincidentally enough, Hunter called me and my wife within that 2-week period, and we were back.
Wow. You think if that call doesn't happen, you're fighting in BKFC at least once? Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that door open? Is that something you're considering now in this new reality?
That energy is totally out of my life.
Okay.
I'll tell you, like, and it'll be very evident from reading the book, when I was in that mindset of training to fight, like, I didn't like the way I felt. I would just look at everyone and be like, I'll smash his face, I'll smash his face. I would go to practice and then I would go home and watch fights all day. Like, I did not manage my mindset well when I was immersing myself into combat sports at all. I just felt crazy all the time. Some people can do it. Like, it's a switch for them. They can go in and do everything they have to do at the gym, and then they go home and they're like back to dad or husband or whatever, and they're not watching fights. They're doing whatever. I was weird. I had a very difficult time balancing the energy and the mentality and the perspective of being even keel while also doing that. So
You don't want that back.
No, I really don't.
No. So the idea of you going down the shoot fighting route at this point in your life, not a possibility.
No, and I'm glad that's out of my system. I don't want to feel like that anymore. I felt crazy.
Is there any chance you have wrestled your last match?
No.
Okay, so you're not one of those guys who's like, if it's not WWE, I'm out.
No.
Okay.
No way.
How long do you want to go for?
Forever.
Okay.
Forever! Terry Funk.
Yeah, what a great.
I mean, I feel very good. I'm very healthy. I'm good to go. I don't know how long. I don't see an end in sight.
Okay.
That's for sure. So,
this what you were talking about, these other plans, these dates that you and your wife have, is that non-wrestling related? These other things?
Most of them are, yeah.
Okay.
Most of them are.
Is it acting stuff or
acting?
Okay.
Conventions, different cons and stuff like that. I wanted to knock all of that type of stuff out first. Author-related stuff. My film is actually at the New York Chain Film Festival here in the city
tonight.
Yes, it was officially selected for their festival. So
congrats.
Stuff going. Thank you, man. It's exciting. It's stuff going on with the film here in New York City tonight. It'll be going to Texas soon. I still can't tell people what's going on in Texas, but it's coming. We have a festival in Burbank that we were selected for, which is a really big one. I'm pumped about that. So we've been responding to emails for the last 72 hours. We're like neck deep.
Yeah, when you put that out there, and your wife did as well, your email address, how many did you get?
Dude, I'm trying to answer them in chronological order, and I'm playing catch up.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. So we're locking in dates all over the place to be at, and we agreed. We're like, let's not put out single dates so people can see them, because if we do it that way, like every time we confirm something or get like an advance, we're going to have like 30 different things to post. Let's get a massive collection and just drop it one time, and then people have it, and they can always go back to it and see where we are and what we're doing. So
outside of WWE, you could be Killer Kross, right?
Oh yeah.
And do you think that's who you'll be?
I have a feeling he's still around.
Okay.
He's not going away.
I think a lot of people would be excited about that. Is there any part of you that is like? So there's a great line here that I bookmarked. If you don't mind me reading.
Please.
This is like Andy Kaufman in in the movie what's it called? Man on the Moon.
You're gonna get lunatics going, he's in on it. He just referenced Andy Kaufman.
No, oh yeah, that's right.
That's boom, there it is.
I'm connected to what's truly important to me. When I'm done in the ring for the day, I go home, take a shower, put on a Norman Osborn Oscorp bathrobe, hang out with my family, and I can be me. I don't want anyone to call me Kross, Karrion, or Killer. I don't want any of that. I like to get back to being Kevin. Kevin knows what's important. I light a cigar, pet my dog, and tell Elizabeth, your wife, I love her. My life is good. And it's not just good because I fought hard for it, but because I stayed true to my values when I could have taken the easy way out. And so is there any part of you, when I read that, I'm like, maybe this dude is just kind of being like tired of all of this and just wants to be Kevin for a bit.
I like my time between performing. That's for sure. I exhaust everything, at least that I'm allowed to, when I go to perform. All of the energy, completely immerse myself into the character presentation, get out there and give people the show that they're looking for, that I'm allowed to give. After that, though, it's a very long recharge.
Yeah.
And I like that process. I enjoy the process of being able to recharge with my family and just be around people that have known me my entire life, that aren't going to treat me and talk to me like the character that I'm playing on TV. Like, that's a little hard sometimes for anybody who's in the business, where if you meet people while you're wrestling, there's like this weird thing where they're always talking to you and communicating with you like you're like a person on TV. Yeah. And it can be hard to close the distance and have like an authentic friendship with people sometimes, because they just see you differently. But the truth is, like, we're sure, it's a job. It's a job I love, but you know, I'm not going to powerbomb you through this table, even though I think about it. I think about it a lot. I'm really not. So you can let your guard down, and we can talk about Seinfeld.
Yes. Oh, I love that show. One of my favorites.
Hit you with it again.
By the way, thank you. I can't imagine what it must be like to be at a crossroads in your life, or whatever you want to call this, and people not believe you, right? When I tell people, hey, I'm leaving ESPN, no one's like, are you telling us the truth? And so for the last few days, when you probably see everyone weighing in with their opinion, if you're consuming any of this, perhaps you're not, it's got to be frustrating, right?
A little bit. Yeah. I go online periodically. I see what's going on. I turn it off. I'm like, there's going to be a time where I can address this. But if I go online and try to disprove or confirm every single thing that's going on, your whole day's gone.
Sure.
And I can't, because I have different opportunities coming in that require my attention and my focus right now. So, that's what kind of occupies my time for the most part, at least currently right now. So I knew that we were going to get to a point where, at least recently, where I was going to be asked about this and we talk about it and I would address everything then and there. So
Were signs really taken away on Monday?
I have no idea.
Did you hear that?
I did. Yeah. I've heard for years, someone who used to be in charge of a wrestling company told me that sometimes stories are leaked or fed. So there's an opportunity for someone to drum up an issue being made that wasn't a real issue. So somebody else can circumvent back and say it's not true. And now any sort of stories that are coming out, whether they're true or not, get washed out the window. Well, this one story wasn't true, so we can't believe any of it. It's a way to kind of control and format narratives. I don't know if that's what's going on. I've seen so many different stories that are not true, revolving, going around. I don't know. But I have no idea whether that was accurate or not. But what takes place online and why, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine, dude.
Will you give yourself some sort of deadline as to when you will make a decision? A, how long you'll wait. B, how long you'll decide if you'll go in this route or that route? Like, have you given yourself that kind of timeline?
No, I haven't. I'm not concerned about it. Like I said, I mean, I've never felt this supported in my entire life in all directions. I've never felt like I've had this before. There's not a sense of urgency or a rush to commit into anything that is not right for me right now. And that is a blessing. I've never felt like this in my life. Everything is okay right now. Everything is good. I would prefer to go back home with my wife. That's what I would prefer to do. And let's give people what they want.
Home meaning WWE.
Absolutely.
And despite the fact that it's been a little bit frustrating, the initial release, the suspenders, the helmet, the comeback, not being on Raw that many times this year, even on the doc, you said, hey, communication has been great. Collaboration has been great. I'd like for it to be more. Despite the fact that you've had multiple frustrations since you joined, you still want to go back.
Yes.
You still call it home.
Yep.
Why?
That's life, man. Life, there's grief and setbacks and frustrations that are going to be a part of every single aspect of life, whether it's this job or another. There was like an old Japanese saying that's kind of stuck with me for a while. It's you find a job you love and you never work a day in your life. Wrestling to me, I know for some is just a job. It's not a job really for me anymore. I tell people it's a job. To me, I still love it. I love being able to go out there and perform and create moments for people that they're not going to forget. That's what it is all about. I don't have an interest in making a complete and total departure from that, especially with WWE. I have so many great core memories of being there, even amongst all that other stuff. For me personally, as I speak to you today, pales in comparison to the relationships and friendships that I have, not even just with people in the locker room, but supporting staff, everybody. Like, when I tell you I've had everybody reach out to me about all this, I mean, it's literally everybody.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine. And in the end, you use that word blessing. Like, it's been a while since we've had like a sort of voice of the voiceless, like you have become, in my opinion, to steal a phrase from Punk back in the day. You are the people's champ now. And you become the people's champ even more so when they feel like you've been wronged.
Yeah.
Right? Now you've become like a martyr.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? It's true. You become very sympathetic. I don't know if you could be a heel ever again, at least not in the interim, right?
Right.
And so I'm wondering, and we're rounding third here. I'm wondering if you have allowed yourself to go there. When you pop up somewhere else, if it's not WWE, if it's WWE, the place will go insane. But if it's somewhere else as Killer Kross, the place will go insane. Now this becomes a part of your identity. You recognize that, yeah?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that, or are you still sort of in the like, holy shit, what happened stage?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
There's something readily available for the audience that we can give them.
Yes.
I'm still here waiting, man. All they got to do is show up to their side and let's figure this out and let's give it to them.
Yeah. And are you cool with leaning into this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We should always be giving the people what they want. Always. If you want to starve them for a little bit with a payoff on the back end, that's okay. That's not what is happening right now. It should be what's happening. And I think it's not too late to go there.
Have you reached out to Paul personally?
No.
Why not?
I had a conversation with him earlier in the year about all of this. They took a point man and they put him between us to communicate. So now the point man is responsible for all of the dialogue.
You can't circumvent that guy. You have a personal relationship, a history with Paul.
He knows that I want to talk.
Yeah.
And he knows what I want to do. He knows.
Are you tempted to send him a text?
I don't know what I would send him because that guy who they put in front of them to talk to me is telling me that everything is coming from them.
Got it.
I've made it very, very clear that I want to keep the lanes of communication and dialogue open. It's a very weird situation.
Yeah.
It's weird, dude.
I get it.
So I've conveyed everything. Like, there's really like, this is the way forward. Everyone just needs to stop being weird.
In life, I would say it's a good life lesson.
Yeah. There's a t-shirt.
What about the people in conclusion? And feel free to speak to them. These people have your back, man. The We Want Cross, hashtag, all this stuff, the t-shirt sales.
Yeah.
They're flooding our chat before the show started. Very excited that you'll be on. What do you want to say to the people who have had your back throughout all of this and then some?
Absolutely cannot thank you enough. There were different periods of my life where I thought for sure, sincerely, maybe I wouldn't have like made it to even this age. I was pretty troubled. And to find myself waking up with this sort of level of support in all directions from friends, peers, vets, total strangers, it's unbelievable. And I just want people to know that I'm not playing a game with them. This is real. And I'm here to fight. I'm going to fight to do the right thing. I'm going to fight to show up. And I'll see you again soon.
Incredible. Thank you. Anything we didn't touch on that you want to get out while we're live right now?
We never talked about how Newman did not get his own TV show.
He should have had a spinoff. He lost all that weight. It got a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Probably what Michael Richards did in the comedy club screwed things up.
Probably didn't help.
Yeah. Still.
Duckman never got released on DVD.
Wow. You're really going deep here into the archives.
They're going to go, what's he talking about?
Yeah, no, Duckman was great. Wow. What about Rochelle? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
What a film that was.
Oh, my God.
Incredible stuff. It is called Life is Fighting. Holy shit, what a time to come out with a book. And it's fascinating reading it with like today's knowledge in the back of your mind. You know what I mean?
Yes.
How all this sort of juxtaposes is really kind of weird. You know what I'm saying?
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I was not expecting to be in this situation at the end of the book where I'm going back to WWE and now I'm sitting here and I'm not in WWE as the book comes out.
My closing thought was, holy shit, the second book is going to be fantastic.
The second book is going to be very off the rails.
Yes.
I'll tell you that right now.
If you want to support this man, buy this book right now. You could buy it on Amazon, anywhere you get your books. Also, prowrestlingtees.com. You've got your shirts out there. Your wife has her shirts out there as well. Scarlett, there it is. Look at these. I'm a 5, I'm a 10. That's some great stuff. And then, of course, Roberts as well. So go check them out. Go support them. I can't thank you enough. Honestly, thank you for coming. I'm sure you could have gone on a million different shows today while you're here in New York. We appreciate it more than you know. Good luck with the showing tonight and everything that you're doing. And keep us posted and keep doing your thing. Keep being you. Keep standing up for what you believe in. It's very, very inspiring and admirable to watch from afar.
I appreciate it so much, man. Sincerely, I do.
Kevin Robert Kesar.
It's Kesar in Croatian, but I'm not going to make people roll their R's. It's just not going to happen in the United States.
Kesar.
Yes.
All right, close enough.
Kesar.
All right, I wanted to get it the authentic way. There he is, Kevin Robert Kesar, a.k.a. Killer Kross, formerly known as Karrion Kross, at least for now. Incredible stuff. We're going to be back in a couple of minutes with Shayna Baszler, another person who is sort of moving on from WWE, at least for now. And David Feldman still to come, Paul Hughes as well. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.